Now before I get ready to install quickset everywhere, I've got, remember this gap here? I'm going to just take some regular caulking and what I have is some silicone based caulking. I'm just going to shoot some of that up in here. I could put quickset there, but then I'd have to use some webbing tape up in there, and this is going to be fine anyways because it's going to bond on the inside corner. Okay, so I can just kind of do that. Basically because I'm getting ready to patch. I'll still, when I skim everything, I'll skim right up to this. But this is really going to keep this joint
tight.
From cracking out.
Keep it tight.
Okay. Now you don't have to do this on new construction or anything. I'm using this as a patch filler. When that dries, nothing's going to come through that. It's actually going to be better than the quickset. Try to keep any sort of moisture inside the wall from coming out on the wall. If anything, if there's any moisture that gets caught inside this wall, because it's an exterior wall, it's around a window, they had some issues about this years ago, any moisture will get to the back side of this and hopefully dry between the back of the sheetrock and the wood studs, rather than coming out of this hole up here, coming out on the surface of the wall and starting to discolor the wall, and then you'll have a bleed mark underneath your paint. Okay, well, I'm going to do that in this other corner over here as well. Now here I've got that transition too, and there's a crack there too. And again, I could put webbing tape there, but this is going to serve the purpose just as well. Okay, and I'm doing that because this is a patch, and this is going to bond it just as well. I'll still now have to put skimming material over that, you know, and blend it all in. I've got these inside corners right here too, and I thought I might as well hit those as well since I'm here. And I can still put my sheetrock mud right over that. Okay? There's a tip for you.
Yep.
Now here's one thing I want to point out to you. I use a silicone base for around those windows because that's what I had. Now I've got a little bit right there, and I can put some silicone on there too, but if you're going to use silicone, make sure it's the paintable silicone, because this is the existing sheetrock ceiling that's not necessarily going to get anything but maybe a little bit more paint there. You don't want to use silicone if it's not paintable, or else if you do and you spooge a little bit up on here on the ceiling, you get ready to paint, it's not going to cover. So I'm going to look at my caulking tube and see if it says paintable. If not, I'm going to use some regular white paintable caulking for right in here. And I see a little bit of a mark up here on the ceiling. I may end up putting a little bit on that too, because I really don't want to do a patch up here on the ceiling. The ceiling's already been painted and everything, and maybe they can touch this little area up. I can just put a little caulking right in there and kind of fudge that little section in. Okay? Things to think about when you're doing your patches.
Yep. Get all the sun there.
Well, you have popped nails. You can't just tap them flush, because then they're going to loosen up again. So when you see anything like that, you know you're getting ready to patch there. You're going to have to take a nail set or something like a nail set and just tap it in just a little bit. And that'll sink it into solid wood. Just because it's under the surface, I don't want to think, oh, that's good enough, I'll just put some mud over that. Well, you do that if you don't sink those nails in first, and you put the mud on there, chances are that mud is going to crack out eventually, because the nail in there is loose and it moves when the wall moves, and you could crack that out. Okay? Do a good job. I'm watching. Here's a little tip I'm going to show you. Because I'm going to be skimming over this wall again. Yeah, could I put tape over this? Yes, I could. But this hole goes all the way through. There used to be some molly bolts here. And the telephone used to hang on the wall here. Well, that was many, many years ago. So those screws were there. And I thought, hey, Joe, it's got to go. So instead of putting webbing tape over this time I'm just going to use my silicone caulking. And it looks like a pretty big hole, but I'm going to run it on the outside edges and then work my way towards the middle, and it's going to stick everywhere on there. Okay. Now I can wipe this off like that, and once that dries, that's going to be a nice tight bond, and then from there I can put my quickset over that without having to worry about putting any tape and bulging the wall out or making a big old huge patch. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit more on that one. That was one I had just done prior. And silicone, if you've not used silicone, this is kitchen and bath silicone. It bonds really good. So that's going to dry overnight. When I come back here to do my quickset, I'm going to go right over that, and voila, I'll be ready for skim coat after that. Okay, because since I have the caulking here, you remember that inside corner that I took out that loose tape? Well, it's going all the way to the back side, so since I have the caulking here, I'm going to put some deep down in there to kind of hold it together, and that's also going to seal that area from any moisture coming in there before I put the sheetrock mud on the quickset. I could just use quickset, it's not that big of a deal, okay? But I thought I might as well do that and kind of show you. It might come in handy in certain areas where you're patching. Okay? Now that will dry. Won't take very long for that to dry. And then I can put some quickset over that and my webbing tape and then do the proper patch.
No webbing tape over it?
Now here I've got another inside corner. I'm just going to put it back in there to keep the moisture from coming out and disturbing my quickset that I'm going to put in there. Okay?
Yeah. Good rubber.
Now, do I do this on all my joints on new construction? No. No, but this was a problem area from before. Right?
Yeah.
I knew there was moisture coming through here because it was all showing on the wallpaper. And so I want to do a little bit extra here to hope that it doesn't come out again. I don't want it to come out and say, oh, who did the patch? Oh, Joe did the patch. Yeah, didn't he do a good job? Well, it's all cracked out here on the corner. You know, I don't think I'm going to have him come back and work in my house again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'll put a little bit more in there and finish it off. Okay, now I have a joint. Here's an inside joint, and this was the existing wall to the right side, and this was the new wall when they built out the bay window. They ran sheetrock over here, and they might have flat taped the sheetrock here because there's a hairline crack here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some caulking and I'm going to run a thin bead down there, and that's going to bond both sides of the wall together. Okay, I'm using silicone caulking, and it doesn't matter because I'm not painting directly over that. I'm going to be skimming this out. Okay, that's going to help bond everything in there, and that crack should not reappear itself once we get ready to spray texture these walls after I skim it. There's another tip for you. Well, since this was the exterior wall and I had my caulk gun out, I went ahead and just filled up the nail holes because as you saw, some of those were rusty, and since I'm not going to do any more today, I thought that would just bond it a little bit better. I thought I'd try something different this time, and so tomorrow I'm going to come back and do the quickset. I think I'm going to wrap it up today. What do you think, guys?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, I'm in my uncle's kitchen area. The table's over there. I got all my stuff here, and I still have to clean up. And that's the beauty of working at somebody's house, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, every time you come, you got to move everything out of the way. And then when you get done for that day, you got to move everything back in.
Yes.
So I got to do that now so that I can get this guy right here home.
Yes.
Yes,
Not in a hurry.
I am. I got other things to do today.
Like what?
Like what? Okay, so tomorrow, what are we going to do here tomorrow? We're going to do all the quickset patches, and there's a few of them,
1 o'clock.
and I'm hoping to get all of the patch areas done tomorrow, as well as getting in to do the skimming. I'm still got to skim on these walls. I got to do these patches here too. The patches will go pretty good when you use quickset. That's a tip for you. Anytime you do sheetrock patches, you want to use quickset so you can put 2 coats on the same day. It'll be hard enough. It won't shrink. It'll dry so you can put another coat over it, and you can also get onto your regular all-purpose joint compound on the same day. Oh yeah. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.